Okay, so you mentioned manufacturing leaving the 5th Congressional District. You also celebrate the conclusion of the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and safe to assume that the gas is just going to find another route to the marketplace, probably out through Cove Point and an LNG import facility for the Navy facilities in Norfolk to get that gas into to that region. What do you propose for economic development in the 5th Congressional District if you're going to oppose any kind of fossil fuel development for manufacturing facilities? You kind of like lamented the fact that manufacturing is leaving. What are you going to do to bring in manufacturing to the 5th?
There are huge manufacturing opportunities in clean and renewable energy. Huge opportunities, and that's why, like I said, even with pipelines, with solar and hydro, there are huge opportunities. And I think that the labor unions, I'm endorsed by the Virginia Carpenters, the plumbers, like I'm more people, right? And the reality is, know that there are opportunities for them in manufacturing, in clean and renewable energy. The investment in that energy economy of the future is a huge job creator. It's an industry creator. And that's where it's just like, we have huge opportunities here in the 5th. Halifax County has multiple solar fields. For DJ and I, you're talking about Spotsylvania has the largest solar field on the East Coast. And the economic impact of having that land that was just sitting there, now creating revenue, now creating taxes for the county, that's huge. And so, listen, there are huge opportunities in clean and renewable energy. We just have to have the forethought to invest in the energy economy of the future, not the energy economy of yesterday.
So follow up on that, what is going to make the 5th Congressional District stand out to attract manufacturing in this sector? And I'm trying to understand, what do you mean by manufacturing in clean energy for that field? I mean, are you talking about the manufacturing of the solar panels? Or are you talking about the manufacturing of the wind turbines? What do you mean, and how do you get it to the 5th?
Both, all of the above. I think that the thing about the 5th Congressional District is, from a manufacturing standpoint, that capacity, that capability, and that history is there. So we've had lots of manufacturing entities here in the 5th over years, and they've left for various reasons. But again, every county has to make that argument on how we can get those resources here. I think that more broadly, if Virginia is being part of this broader clean economy, if we're really investing in solar hydro, we already have some leading companies in this space already here in the 5th. And so I think there's some of that we already have a presence. It's just a matter of propagating it. But yeah, I mean, you just think about from the standpoint of energy creation, energy storage, and then the way that energy is ultimately transmitted throughout and implemented in the grid. Those are all opportunities from a manufacturing standpoint. It's all opportunities from an industry standpoint. And there's also, from an individual standpoint, and individual rights, the ability to create and store your own energy. That's a huge thing for people here in the district, and that's something that people get really excited about. So yes, I mean, by every account that I've heard, and this is an area, look, I'll tell you straight up, the areas that I don't have the deepest expertise, but everything that I've learned, everything that I've seen about bringing more clean and renewables here to Virginia, here to the U.S., I think it benefits us well. And we, just like we have to make a case for any industry to come into our district, we've got a lot of land, we've got a lot of people who know how to work, we've got a lot of folks who've got a manufacturing background, and this is going to be a right space for us to do a lot of that work here in the 5th.
And a lot of
final on this, if I can. You can take a look at Robert here as the moderator. What are your thoughts on nuclear?
I mean, nuclear is cleaner than some others, but again, that's not necessarily the direction I think we should be going. I think for me, solar, hydro, and wind are going to be the energy of the future. I think nuclear also, if you're talking from an environmental justice or environmental, like that environmental conversation, the waste, the concerns with nuclear far outweigh the concerns we have with other forms of energy. And so from my standpoint, it's really important for us, if we're designing truly the energy infrastructure of tomorrow, let's really move away. Yes, it's efficient. Nuclear is rather efficient, but it's not going to be as clean and as safe for our environment, which is the other side of that equation, is creating energy in a way that doesn't damage our environment. So I think I would move.
I'm sure people are going to look forward to updating that conversation with you. I think there's going to be some gaps in the math on that one in the data, but I'm going to throw it over to Andrea. I mean, listen, these are big issues. I mean, we're talking massive levels of energy required to get to that clean, renewable future that we all want, and it's a question of time and how much investment we're going to be able to tolerate till we get that in certain bridge fuels that some people don't talk about. But there's a reality and a pragmatism that we all have to understand. Let's go to Andrea and then Matt.
Just a quick follow-up. New York City, they take the garbage in New York City and they have a, excuse me, they have a facility that actually takes the garbage from Manhattan and turns it into energy. I don't know how it works. I do know that it involves steam.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I imagine they burn it in such a way and they have a way to do it, but it's very clean, and it also has the advantage of solving the problem of household garbage on a large scale being used to power homes. And everybody knows the closest to the source that you are, the better energy you're going to have. I mean, if you're going to have, look at solar, the manufacturing, there's all kinds of different components. If you can put those panels on houses and you can put those battery packs in an outbuilding on a lot, you're going to not only cut somebody's electric bill in half, if not more, but you'll actually have less of a strain on Dominion and more people putting into the grid rather than taking out. But the project in New York City is fascinating to me. It's because they use a household garbage to make energy.
Okay, Matt, on redistricting.
Dr. Webb, the Virginia Democratic Party recently endorsed opposition to the proposed bipartisan redistricting commission that just went through the Virginia General Assembly. Many people were hopeful that they would actually support that. Your congressional district, the 5th, is actually larger than 6 U.S. states geographically. Having run in a gerrymandered district, what are your thoughts on redistricting, and do you support the proposed bipartisan commission? Why or why not? And what do you think the gerrymandering has done here in Virginia to affect the political climate?
Well, what I'll say simply is that I support the idea of fair redistricting, and so I think in terms of weighing the merits of the bipartisan commission versus anything the Democratic Party may be suggesting, I don't have a strong opinion right now. I know the district that I'm running in. What I will say is that notion of fair redistricting, that notion of congressional districts that are fair and compact, that kind of meet that constitutional definition, and we're representing interests of people who have, in some way, shape, or form, similarly situated interests. That's important to me. I do think the 5th is going to change geographically in the next couple of years, and I think that's probably right. I always talk about just the challenge of connecting the interests of folks in Fauquier County that are very far from right here in Charlottesville, where I'm sitting, very far from Danville and Brunswick. This is just by its very design. It's unfortunate, and I think that it's unfortunate for some of the residents here in the district to have the prospect of a representative who can be 4 hours away in a state like Virginia, where that doesn't need to be the case. So I think that the emphasis has to be on fair redistricting. I think that they always say in politics, to the victor go the spoils. And I know that in 2011, this district was redesigned to make it easier for a Republican. And I understand the allure of making it easier for a Democrat, but I think that we have to be better than kind of what other folks have done in the past. And we have to redistrict the entire Commonwealth in a way that's fair, in a way that people say, hey, these districts now make a lot more sense.
Do you support the constitutional amendment that will be on the ballot in November? Yes or no?
Which one?
Regarding the redistricting reform commission and taking it out of the hands of the General Assembly?
I have to do a little bit more digging on that. I think I understand the value of it. And I think that there was also the conversation about the backup of the Virginia Supreme Court also being able to weigh in. But I think for me, I don't think I'm prepared to answer that yes or no quite yet.